Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Monday morning, and we are on the east side at Pancho and Gringo's, 900 Nolan Street. This is a great restaurant. If you've never been here before, I encourage you to come in and see April and Sergio. They are wonderful people here, so make sure you take a few minutes to come by, stop, and try the food. Very high quality food. Love it. I love coming here any chance that I get. But this morning, we have a wonderful new guest. So this is Mr. Rudy Rodriguez. He is chairman for the West San Antonio Chamber, and we thought this would be a great Monday motivational session to have you on and talk about business. So thank you for joining us, Chairman. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So, this is only a 15-minute segment, so as you know, we usually get right down to business, right down to brass tacks. And so we want to find out what it is that motivates you as our chairman of the board, because you have been chairman for 3 years now, since 2017. And, you've done a wonderful job, and it's been a lot of hard work through all the ups and downs like any small business. Our chamber runs like a business on a daily basis. So tell us a little bit about your background as a small business owner.
Well, it's an interesting story, Kristen. I'll try to capsulize it as much as I can, but I guess the first business that I incorporated was my first year out of high school. Mm-hmm. We were at a small apartment maintenance company that kind of grew into a reasonable sized company that mm-hmm. We from there grew into a couple of other service companies and the like, and then I was asked by a client if I'd be interested in being in the real estate business. I did. That took me down a different path for the next 8 or 10 years. Ended up being a partner in a real estate firm. From there, I've done consulting work, and then for about 12 years, we had an urban planning and landscape architecture practice. Wow. Where we did waterfront planning around the world. Mm-hmm. It was very rewarding. And then finally, right before I decided I was going to retire, I did 5 years as the CEO for a Los Angeles-based development firm, about 250 employees, 5 states. And that was about all I could do before I think I need to either retire or find a new path in life. And yes. So over the last 10 years, we've been in the consulting business, doing work for clients both in San Antonio and around the region, advocating for them on behalf of their business development needs mm-hmm. and their government relations needs.
Okay. All right. Well then, so with all these different pieces of the puzzle, let's say, that takes a toll and a big stress on the family and probably on yourself to make sure that you're always making money, that you always stay ahead of the game. So over the course of all these years, what do you think that stands out in your mind the most, that you attribute your success to, that kept you moving forward and motivated and going?
Christy, I think it's that small business and entrepreneurship isn't for everybody. I think that you have to be very passionate about it. But on the same token, I think that you've got to make business decisions based on smart business thinking mm-hmm. rather than just emotional thinking. I think many of us are enamored with the idea of being in business.
Absolutely.
But once they realize the work level and the commitment it takes, it's truly a lifestyle decision. Mm-hmm. You've got to be somewhat married to it, and you've got to get up every morning and be committed to it, because again, when you're a small business owner, at some point somebody has to answer the phone. Yes. And if it's no one else in the office, it's got to be you.
That's right.
So it's got to be a passion for you and something that drives you. And if you're willing to do that, then I think that you've got an opportunity, because again, it's America and land of the free and a land of opportunity. Mm-hmm. But again, it's something that that's got to be self-driven.
So in all these endeavors and managing a variety of personalities in staff, what do you think was the biggest challenge? And because a lot of our business owners as members, they talk about that, how they have such a struggle developing their own staff and keeping them motivated. So you're keeping yourself motivated. Now you're trying to keep a whole group of other folks with different levels of personalities and attention spans. How did you deal with that? Or maybe give us your best advice for that.
Well, I think that you've got to always recognize that you first and foremost have got to be the lead and the one who is showing the right example and leading by example and having the right level of energy. But I think it's about recognizing people's strengths and their weaknesses. For me, it's not, when I hired somebody or when I decided to work with someone, it wasn't about their immediate capability. It was really about their honesty and their work ethic. If you can get those two things, then you really have found someone that you can mold into the kind of employee that you need.
That's right.
So it really is being compassionate and having enough latitude to appreciate people's skills when they first come to you, and look for that diamond in the rough, because it really gives you the opportunity to mold them into people that will be loyal and energetic and committed.
And they'll definitely grow with you. That loyalty really goes a long way. Okay. Well, so now in this busy lifestyle of owning a business and developing people and developing yourself, you still found time to volunteer wherever you went throughout the city, and you do a lot of that today. Can you tell us a little bit about the groups that you belong to today and how that helped you in business?
Well, I think it depends on the type of business that you want to pursue. For me, it's been public sector based really my entire career. So for me to participate in various boards and commissions around the city, while it takes time, it also builds personal relationships. And those are the kind of relationships that you can either get through public service or you can get through associations like the Chamber. But again, I think to align yourself with people that have been more successful than you and constantly be realizing that you can learn from those folks, that's where the advantage of engagement is.
Yes.
What happens so often is we have so many fires burning every day that some people think they don't have time to go out and do those extra things, but those things can be very rewarding personally, but they can also be very effective from a business development standpoint.
Absolutely. So a few years ago, you made a recommendation to me to consider joining a board or another group. And I now can say, several years later, that I've realized joining those boards has really broadened my horizons, and I almost use it as kind of that timeout. So you're in the business, in the chamber day to day, and there's a lot of stressors and different things to worry about. But when I know that I have that meeting, that's almost as if I was taking a break. And now I'm worrying about another level of things or dealing with another level of issues. But it gives me that really nice time out to spend time with other people, with other leaders in the community. So I've seen it as a kind of a charge to me. It's very inspiring and invigorating. So I appreciate that. That was really good advice.
Well, I hope that you also use that again, not specifically you, but people use that as a real growing and learning tool. Because again, it takes away from your core business time, and you've got to be able to recognize the benefits that you'll get and the return on that investment. And it's like everything else, whether it's small business or your chamber membership or your involvement in other groups, you're only going to get out of it what you put into it. Becoming a member of a chamber is simply just an application issue.
Right.
But I think benefiting from it is really up to the individual and how he uses that tool that the chamber avails him to benefit him. So I think it's all going back to that willingness to engage every day and be totally committed on finding every resource and every opportunity to expand your own personal circle or your business circle as well.
Well, I think through your leadership, that's really why we've expanded on so many different levels with the West Chamber, because we are offering opportunities to the small business owner, to join the chamber, whether they just registered as a business or whether they've been in business 20 years, because we're always learning and we encourage that. But then we also added the levels of membership that include those individuals. If you're a student, if you're recently retired, if you're coming from the military, we feel like we can benefit from each of those folks. And I can say in all the conversations that we've had, that's what I've taken from that and developed something a little bit different. So we can learn from each other, and so we all end up focusing on our purpose. And sometimes our purpose is just to give to other people. We have several retirees that have joined our chamber just to be around other people and to serve, to continue to serve. So I really enjoyed that. And we've built a very positive relationship with Don Gleason and Matt Shearer, and they focus a lot on the military personnel and that transition. So it's interesting gaining members from them, and all they want to do is just help us.
Christy, if I could regress just a little bit, go back to this small business engagement piece.
Sure.
I think that it's critical that young or old beginning entrepreneurs or business owners take the time out to really understand their business and what they're engaging. Now, we talked about that on the personal level, but I also think that probably the greatest challenge that you'll find in opening a small business is being undercapitalized. And unless that you really give yourself a chance to succeed, to enter into business unprepared, without the resources that you need, you're really setting yourself up for failure.
Yes.
And while we have all failed, it's tougher the second time and the third time to try to get back up on your feet. So really coming up with a sound business plan, having enough money to be able to sustain yourself for several months, I think is a critical issue. Utilizing the staff of the chamber even as an extension of your own staff is key. And I can tell you that I certainly have tried developing businesses with that frame of mind in tow, and sometimes without. And while I've been successful on both sides of that, not always.
Right.
And so I could tell people out there today is that be prepared, understand what your needs are and what your challenges are going to be. Surround yourself with people smarter than you and people that you truly trust. Because if you can go to work every day recognizing that the work you do is for the benefit of others, then you're going to reap the rewards of that philosophy.
Yes. Okay. Well, it's always great to have you and talk to you and offer this advice. We've heard it many, many times, but I believe coming from you as the chairman of the West San Antonio Chamber, it's just very valuable, and we appreciate that, and we learn from all your experiences. So thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Christy.
So please, I hope you enjoyed this, and you've probably heard some of these things many, many times, but take that time to really think about it and let it soak in and understand that the West San Antonio Chamber is here to help you. And we do that in a collaborative effort, not only as staff members, but also through our board. We all believe and focus on the same mission, is to help the small businesses in our community thrive. So we want to make sure that we provide you with that education. So again, we hope you have a wonderful Monday, and please join us again. We have many, many new guests that we will be lining out, and we'll put those posts on our Facebook page. We also have an Instagram and a Twitter and a LinkedIn, so we hope that you will check out those pages. Join us for our upcoming events. We have the gala coming up on May 31st. So there's a lot of great opportunities coming up. Don't forget, join the chamber. Go ahead and move forward, like our page, make comments, ask questions, all that good stuff. So we'll see you next time on the West Chamber Pop-Up. Thank you so much.